ressenti partout.
Um,
Uh, why don't
it's
we just hop right into that, Andy? Because this is something I think we just need to put it out there and give our
right.
piece.
Yeah. Tonight, it's just there's too much stuff that we have to uh, go over, or that I think you and I both want to expound upon, and there's just no time for foreplay. So let's just get into it.
Just shove it in, baby.
Yeah, let's just do the damn thing. um, I don't know. Do you want to start us off, or?
No. You. This is your news topic, so I'll chime in when necessary.
Okay, sounds good. Um, bloody hell. Yeah, like we were alluding to on the outset. It's a lot of things going on, and they're not necessarily being covered by the mainstream media, and so I think we took it upon ourselves to you know uh, bring it to the fore and to discuss it. One of the one of the things that's been going on that I think has been grossly underreported, or just outright omitted from the mainstream media, is the constant overreach of government. And you might be thinking to yourself, "Oh, what are you talking about? The government isn't doing anything so out of line, or cause for alarm." And that's where I would respectfully disagree. And and that's about the end of my respect. Um,
It's like, well, you're being an idiot. That's what. Yeah, that's what. That's how I would put it.
right, you're just being a damn fool is what you're being. If you're not, as a certain group might say, not being woke on certain matters. It's just,
Yeah.
I guess we'll just start with. Oh, did you want to say something?
Oh yeah, no, I was gonna ask you as kind of a lead in, like, where did you start to get some of the inkling of a lot of this overreach?
Well, I mean, just to be honest with you, it's just the lockdown itself. The lockdown itself,
Yeah. Okay.
because they use like this very that's how they get you, is like with words. And they use like these nice sounding words, um, like like essential, like essential jobs. It's like, well, like, who are you to determine what is essential? Because what if I am the sole, what if I'm the sole provider for my family? And if I don't work, then I don't get, I don't bring any money, and I can't provide groceries, or pay the bills, or pay the mortgage. And so, is not my job essential? Like, even if I'm a lowly janitor, is not my job essential to my family?
Yeah.
And it's just like this kind of like this sneaky, like, sleight of hand that they do, where it's like, where they essentially are devaluing human beings, human lives. It's like, oh, like, oh, we're like, well, like, yeah, it's like we're gonna strongly recommend that people shelter in place, and isolate themselves and social distance. And every time I say that word, I want to punch myself in the dick. Um, but it's,
Contagion negation.
yeah, contagion negation, as we have coined on this podcast. Uh, yeah, and so I immediately recognized the overreach, from the jump. I it was so obvious.
Well, and I'm similar to you in that same sense. once again, our government officials acting as though we're just the lowly peons that we're beneath them. You have guys who are like Bolshevik Mayor Bill de Blasio from New York who um, is saying, "Oh no, we're closing all this stuff down, stay at home." But me, I can go work out. That's okay. I'm gonna go to the gym, and it's like, no, no, you're not. It's like you don't get to break your own, house arrest that you've implemented. But to him, it's like, oh well, I need it to feel better about myself. It's like, yeah, you know what? There are millions of other people. It's like you, if you're gonna promote this thing, then you stay home too. You're not better than us. You're you're and if anything, you're below us. You're our employee. At least if you're living in New York City. Um, you have that chick with the fucked up eyes in Chicago, the mayor there, who is, oh, well, I got a haircut because I'm on, I have to be on TV and I can't cut my hair myself. Yeah, you know what? So a million other Chicagoans who probably want to get their hair cut. And, it's like, I really care about my hygiene. So does everybody else. Obviously, this whole thing is about hygiene, for fuck's sake.
I know with
It's,
their constant, what is it? Their constant PSAs about washing your hands using Elmo. Um,
oh, and then you had her just like a few weeks prior to this, where she's like giving out this just disgusting like PSA about like what what's essential, what's not, and to tell
mhm.
people to stay at home. But that doesn't apply to her, of course. And when she's pressed about it, it's like, oh, really, are we really going to talk about this right now? Don't we have so many more important things to talk about? No, actually, we don't, because we're stuck here and under house arrest that you put us under. So I think we should talk about it, and we should fire your ass.
Right, absolutely.
And the worst of all is our mayor, who is just the chills ran up my spine when I heard the saying, uh, well, but here snitches get rewarded. It's talking about kind of ratting people out and paying them for it. So what are you gonna?
Right,
Of course,
right. I
you're
mean,
you're
even
you put millions of people out of work, and now you're incentivizing them to get money by ratting people out. That's Soviet Russia fucking bullshit.
right. I mean, essentially, he's turned, he's in essence, he's turned them into brown shirts. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, and for those of you who don't know their history, we all know what happened to the brown shirts. It was called the Night of Long Knives, and as soon as the and again, and just to give context, brown shirts were essentially the Antifa of their time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they were Hitler's boys. They were the ones to, if people, weren't necessarily jiving or picking up what Hitler was laying down, they made sure that they got down to pick it up. Usually, with their boot on the back of your head.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
essentially, they were his useless idiots, and a lot of people think that that these same people became the SS. Mm-mm.
no,
Mm-mm.
yeah, because what they don't know is they don't know about the Night of Long Knives, which is basically Hitler. Uh, big Hitler, decide, as soon as the brown shirts no longer were useful, he murked them
Yep.
in the
Very
night,
impressive.
and he straight up murked them all because they weren't useful for his vision for the new German.
Yep.
Um, I don't know if perhaps we should use like strong language, but I mean that's essentially what Garcetti's doing. He's saying he's saying he's empowering people to to snitch on their neighbor. Um, but what's going to happen to you when you're no longer useful, or what happens when your neighbor rats on you?
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
and here's the other thing too, Andy, which is they're really not hiding the ball at all. Like you had it back when they're working on that stimulus bill.
mhm,
Nancy Pelosi was saying it's like, yo, this is our chance to reshape the government in our image. And even Eric Garcetti uh, said the same very same thing. Someone called in and asked, it's is this a way? Is this a time where we can reshape the government in a more progressive manner? And he said, absolutely, that's what we want to do. What? This
yeah, right. I
isn't
mean, okay. Let me just pull up
politicized.
the. I have some. I have some notes here. So let's. Shoot. Um, share the screen here. Uh, all right.
Yeah,
So
we have like this.
just running all cylinders tonight, I guess. Okay. Well, yeah. Here's okay. This is. I pulled up three different sources for this specific topic. Um, one is from the Elias. It's it's a kind of like online sort of magazine that deals with the things in LA. Usually, I would log into their site for like recommendations for restaurants or where to get a drink with my friends. But they but instead I found this article that they wrote uh, mentioning the mayor's uh, harsher measures for quarantine. Just, okay. All right. Okay. Yes. So here's the first one. This is the Elias. LA mayor says when it comes to reporting business violations, snitches get rewards, and that is a direct quote from the mayor. He literally said that, you know, in a press conference. Um, I don't know. I forgot to check how long this was, but yeah, there's a. I think initially this was couched in business offenders, so people operating their businesses illegally during the quarantine and shelter at
It's
home.
not, Andy. It's not quarantine. It's house arrest. That's what it is.
Right, yeah, yeah. Hence the air quotes. Um, but I think he couched this in the guise, because it cites this article or this quick little snippet cites that talking about construction companies who are operating during the house arrest. Uh, but honestly, it's what it businesses are run by people, so you're essentially ratting out on people.
And also, well, two things I gotta say. First of all, and more of a comedic note, why is it that like every fucking person that's doing sign language in these things and they find the goofiest looking people all the time doing sign language? For one, I mean, the lady that's in this clip, I mean, she looks like a fucking. She doesn't look real. She looks. Um, but two, um, as far as construction, being open, it's like, oh, it's fine as far as it's Caltrans. Because have you seen all the um, road construction that's been going on? Caltrans is fine. So what's the difference? And like I said, that's government run.
That's right. That's right because
So so
even
that's
before the house arrest, I saw on the a lot of on the freeways they were doing a lot of construction just prior. to the announcement of the virus and the lockdown. So it seems pretty suspicious that that they're doing all this now. Um, I would understand it, like if you know it's just the timing is suspicious is all I'm trying to get at. Because it'd be one thing if they lock this down, they lock it down. They're like, hey, you know what? We decided to do. We're going to take advantage of the less traffic on the road, and we're going to take care of some road construction. All right, cool, fine. Do as you will. But yeah, the timing is just really suspicious, and kind of like the weird justification that only state run things are allowed to work, are allowed to operate, but not private companies.
Yeah, it's like
Um, oh yeah, here's the quote. Where it says, the old expression about snitches. Well, in this case, snitches get rewards. We want to thank you for turning folks in and making sure we are all safe. Look, I know that this is tough. I know that life feels fundamentally changed, and trust me, I have no joy in the rest of the city government and county government has no joy in stopping our life temporarily. End quote.
takes no joy in it, or shit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long this clip is, so I'm kind of reticent to play it. But maybe we should just let the let the mayor's words.
Yeah, I agree. Let's let it play.
All right, let me.
If we have to push some of this stuff back next week,
Oh,
because this is more. This is more.
huh. Interesting. This video is unavailable.
Oh, fancy
Huh.
that.
Interesting. Interesting. Hmm. Okay. Here's one from the LA Times, which again is just this. Oh yeah. So seven editor Los Angeles Mayor announced an order Tuesday requiring all residents. Oh, this was what? Yeah. Essentially, they're requiring all people to wear masks. It's not just people who work at grocery stores or or restaurants or other type of businesses, but it's like basically everyone um, is now required to wear it. And shit. Oh crap. There's a quote here from the city council. Oh, here it is. Yeah. Yeah. City Councilman Paul Cortez. Yeah, he says everybody has some cloth at home. There are all kinds of different ways to do. Uh, Here. Later in the interview Tuesday evening, Cortez called the mayor's order a big step in the right direction, but said he would like Los Angeles to go even further and mandate masks or other facial coverings whenever Angelenos leave their homes. A step in the right direction, really? Mandating people to cover their faces. But then, we get to the point of like implementing those laws. And then we have, what's happened in Philadelphia, where, a man was dragged off a bus by 10 police officers. 10 police officers for not wearing a mask. Um, the story goes that the Southeastern Philadelphia, Transit Authority put in effect uh, a policy where all riders have to wear masks. and this gentleman, he wasn't wearing a mask, and so police came and and pretty violently pulled him off the the bus. And I have the clip, and I will share the clip with you. Sound coming through? I don't think the sound's coming. One second. Sorry, folks. We're yeah.
Well, I'll make some comment because I've seen this video several times. You're gonna hear a lady on there. It's gonna say, thank you for dragging this man off there." It's like, couldn't we have, I don't know, because masks are not, uh, contrary to popular opinion, they're not easy to find,
Right,
especially
right.
right now.
Especially nowadays.
And I'm sure that these police officers probably have extra. They could just say, "Hey, man, here's a mask. Like, and just be careful. Try to get some." Or, "Hey, man, like just put like your shirt over your mouth, something like that, just to kind of it's not the best thing, but it's better than nothing."
Right. I mean, that's what the CDC even recommends that these people do.
Yeah, but no, let's just rip this man, like, probably injured the guy, but like, quote unquote, maybe infect a bunch of people by shouting and screaming, and dragging this guy off the train. It's like, what are we doing?
Mhm.
This unacceptable. And I hope that man sues the city and takes them to the cleaner.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sorry, folks. We're trying a lot of new things here tonight.
So, sorry, Andy, we get it. We get it.
Yeah, but just yeah, as Robert was saying, just like the violence used on this one man, and then like the woman in the background, like saying thank you, for basically stomping on this guy's rights. It's
Yeah. How it's always women?
yeah, it's always women. But they women are more uh, women are more. What's the word I'm looking for? Women are more disposed to authoritarianism, which sounds weird, and and I don't mean to knock all women, but
It's not all women,
it's not
but
all women.
it's
But generally speaking, women prefer security to freedom. Like if they're like security is very important to women, and if they'll take it however they can get it. So if you say, okay, give me your guns, give me your gun, and then I'll protect you, it's like okay,
but
okay, I
no,
think I can.
you got it. Okay.
Well, yeah, well, you'll be able to hear the audio. Just let me know if you don't.
As long as the audience can hear it, I don't care if
Okay, all right, we're gonna go.
like this scared the shit out of me.
What the fuck am I holding on to? Yo, you gonna feel this, man. Look what the fuck y'all calling me, dumbass. The fuck off. Yeah.
Look how many cops there are. Like, 1, 2.
Right.
Oh, especially the other thing too is like because I think the guy looks pretty black
Yeah, he's a
possibly.
black man. He's not. Doesn't have his.
Take me if you fucking want. Where the fuck? Close this door, man. Fucking pussy ass.
It's funny though, like now it's like, oh well, no, this isn't
All
police
y'all fucking
brutality. This is
bastards.
you know doing the right thing. It's like whoa, wait, where did this double standard?
Right, and I mean, if you notice, towards the beginning of the clip, you see his phone drops right there. It's right. It's right here. It's right by this cop's foot right here. I'm using the mouse to highlight it for the audience.
Yeah.
And then look what happened at the end when they let him go. That's his phone. Some cop just threw it at him.
Take me if you fucking want.
Wow.
Where the fuck?
Right there. See, right there. Let's again.
Take me if you fucking
Let him
want.
go. Where's his phone? Right. Oh, it just happened to just fall into frame, even though it was supposed to be at the entrance of the bus.
Yeah.
That's some dick ass cop. That's a dick ass cop.
Yeah. This and honestly, these
and it's these kind of authoritarian policies that are giving the asshole cops carte blanche to act like this.
And and here's the other thing too. The majority of the cities that we're talking about, Democrat run. And to be honest, if we got an election coming up, and the next we have the presidential election coming up in a few months, and have other elections. If you guys keep voting Democrat, you see this stuff. If you guys keep voting Democrat, you're stupid. You deserve everything you get.
Right, and I mean, and just in another video from Philadelphia is this bus driver. I don't know if you've seen this one either, but yeah, here's this bus driver, and he kicks off people who not that they're not wearing masks.
If you do not have a mask, you cannot ride public transportation,
even if they have the face covering, they're not wearing like a medical grade mask.
You have to get off the bus.
He kicks them off. Watch right now. He's gonna kick. Like there's gonna be a guy with a bandana. He's gonna kick them off.
Sir. You gotta get off the bus, man. I'm gonna have the cops take you off, one or the other. You have to get off. Let's go.
I have to get off?
Yes, sir.
Even though I had it?
You don't have no mask. Let's go. You gotta get off. Let's go.
I know it's kind of hard to tell from that guy, but he had like a bandana over his face. But even like the CDC even said like, oh yeah, just wear any kind of covering. It could be a cloth covering, it could be a scarf. It's fine. But the Philadelphia Transit Authority, they I guess they implemented something where it had to be like a medical grade mask,
which you can't find anymore.
Yeah, which you can't find anyways.
Which they're not making. They're giving those all to the hospital stuff, which is fine. That's where they belong. But
exactly. And I mean, now after like videos like this and the one that I just showed, that they just announced that they will no longer require it, but it's just suggested. Oh yeah. Initially they mandated it. The initial mandate was reversed after only one day. Southeast Philadelphia Transit Authority is now simply strongly encouraging passengers to wear protective masks and gloves.
yeah, you see, like when there's actually when people actually start to push back on these things,
right?
that
And this isn't even like this is even half of it because there was the story of this man who was simply at a park with his wife and kid, and they were the only ones in the park, and police came and arrested him for being out in public playing with this kid. They arrested him in front of his kid, and this guy, I think he was like a state trooper too, right? And he didn't initially identify him as such, because like why would he have to, to get special treatment?
yeah, it's like, and the thing is, like, this is why, and yeah, we talked about this. This is why the media keeps people in fear, and so that way that these democratic politicians can then implement these type of order, these type of you know unconstitutional orders, and because they expect people to be too fearful to like do to stand up for themselves, and so they just like, oh, and it's a power grab. And when you see people stand up for themselves, stand up for the rights that they have, it's like, oh, we actually, yeah, you're right. We can't do that. And so then they all of a sudden change they use the, yeah, exactly. And another big one, obviously, churches. Uh, and it's it's you look at the language. It seems to be only synagogues and churches. What's missing out of that? Mosques and whatever crazy ass religions out there. And I
Zoroastrians, yeah, where like there's no mention of Zoroastrians.
I'm just saying is like it's funny how Islam now is that something where it's just like, oh well, that's an assumption that like all religious services, or I have a feeling that that's something that's like, oh well, no, that's fine for them. They don't want to appear racist. But yeah, the Jews and Christians, like, fuck those guys. They don't need that. Church is not not essential. Even like when you're complying with the kind of the social or the contagion negation uh
Thank you.
levels of systems, um, or you have, or just like I said, or people aren't together. It's like they had like that the kind of like the drive-in ish type church there. We're gathered together, but we're not actually together. We're all
Yeah, we're separated in our cars. And I understand. I understand. Compromise. I do. I truly do.
That's a
And,
compromise.
yeah, and I understand like the idea of kind of the workarounds because that's a workaround. Yeah, it's, we're the churches are able to meet. We're still complying with the 6 feet thing. We're actually being separated by our cars. So I completely understand the workaround. But when do we stop complying? That's the question that I'm asking myself. When will it be too much?
Yes,
You know,
could
and
have been.
and today I was struggling with this a lot because we kind of I think we addressed this, not exactly this issue, but maybe something similar, or I think the same similar principle in the idea of like turning the other cheek. And I was really thinking about that principle today, where I don't know, for those of you who are just joining this stream for the first time or finding this clip uh, for the first time and you're intrigued, I have an interpretation of turn the other cheek. Where a lot of people might misinterpret or understand that to means like just take the beating. I've come to interpret it as make it worth it, make your reaction worth it. Which also ties into something that Jesus also said about your yes being yes and your no being no. And right now, I think in terms of like religion, yeah, the government they slapped you on one cheek. Right now, I think that's like this whole like kind of separation and not allowing church services to happen. I think that's the first smack across the cheek. And I think I think we should offer the other cheek. We should offer the other cheek. Let the government's yes be yes or no be no. But if they're gonna go after if they're gonna go after constitutionally protected rights that come from God, then our reaction has to be worth it. It can't be ambiguous.
Yeah,
And so right now, I think like this whole not allowing 10 or more people to congregate, that's the first slap across the cheek. And I'm offering the other cheek. I'm offering that other cheek. But that's I had this struggle with me this whole time because I wanted because I was even thinking about writing my pastor, just kind of just laying it out like what I'm feeling and how I feel that this is wrong. But then I was just I was meditating on today, and it has to be a yes or yes, no is no situation. We can't we can't go off on the initial action.
yeah. It's yeah. All this stuff is it's. I'm having the same struggle with you, Dan, where it just I am horrified by the weakness that people have shown.
Right. I mean, oh man, I wish I had pulled it up, but there was this great clip of I think a little while back, and CNN was covering this church that was still having services, and they stopped one lady in her car and interviewed her, and she was so based. She was like saying, they kept trying to like kind of entrap her and say like, oh, aren't you afraid of getting coronavirus or whatever? It's like, no, no, I'm covered in Jesus' blood. That's literally what she said. I'm covered in Jesus' blood. I'm okay. And then she was like, and then he was doing the tactic of like, oh, basically, the Helen Lovejoy. Oh, think of the children. Um, where there, he was like saying like, oh, well, what about people that outside this church? It's like, aren't you afraid that you can get them sick, you know, because you got sick from someone at your church? It's like when she kept appealing to God, which I think what Christians should do all the time, or specifically and especially now. Because any worldly authority you appeal to, there's always kind of a retort. But when you appeal to God, there is no other like, oh well, the scientists are human beings, they're not higher than God. Say, oh, the government's under God, they're not higher than God. And and then even when the reporter tried to get her on that, it's like, oh, you can get other people sick. Like, if you go out to those places, it's like, well, they can get me sick.
Oh, but here's the other thing that they don't talk about. It's like, okay, well then, if that's the case, then if you're really worried about that, then the grocery stores need to be shut down, Walmart need to be shut down, Target need to be shut down. Because let's be honest, the lines at these places are it's out the door, and
Right.
trust me, people are not staying 6 feet away from each other.
No, of course
I
not.
know, because where I'm working at, like people aren't staying 6 feet away from each other. It's and so, but yet we're still open. So is it, are you actually really cared about people getting sick, or is this just a way like you want to trample on religious freedom that someone is supposed to have? Like I said, I'm all for being smart. Like if I'm not saying that this virus doesn't exist or whatever. And like I said, let's be smart. Let's be hygienic. Let's take precautions. But you're not gonna take my rights away. Sorry, not gonna happen. and people are like laughing at like all these people going to the gun store and to these gun stores to buy guns, and it's like that's so unessential. Fucking thing.
Oh,
it's
that's
more
right.
it's more
Right, the
now than
the LA County Sheriff, he deemed gun stores as non-vital or non-essential businesses, and was
yeah.
trying to shut them down.
Just I, I like my I'm at a point where it's like I'm so mad that it's beyond shouting or cursing at the problem. It just my blood boils with the
That's exactly right. That's exactly how I felt about it. I was like, when I was researching all this crap, it's like it wasn't like I wanted to yell, but it was just like, my sense of justice was, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? My sense of justice was, I don't know, activated, or
yeah.
I don't, because everyone has an inherent sense of justice. And I mean, looking at that stuff and hearing like the quote from Mayor Garcetti, or reading the garbled, you know, reading the garbled mess that law in Michigan is just like, it's incensed my sense of justice. Incense is the word I was looking for. And again, like Robert was saying, it's beyond just like yelling, going ah. It's just like it was just like my blood was like boiling because my sense of injustice was incited.
Yeah, it's you get that blood
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and being a Korean, I know that feeling all too well.
rage. Yeah, I've been around things. I know blood rage.
Yeah, that K rate. Yes, and that's what it is. That's like that's that from Avengers when they had like the final battle, and like that huge like space whale is like coming at him, and Captain America's like, oh, he's like, Dr. Banner, it might be a good time for you to get angry. And he goes like, that's my secret, I'm always angry. And it's like, that's Koreans.
Oh man,
uh,
I just
oh,
I I think that's I don't know if you have anything else to share.
no. I mean, I think I attained catharsis by talking about all this and getting it all out. Because again, we're not okay. Don't get the message twisted. We're not saying this to get you guys afraid. That's the last thing that we want to do. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we're the ones calling your attention to the tornado. That's all we're doing.
Yeah,
We're the ones saying tornado, tornado, tornado.
yeah. It's all about like it's part of the idea to inform you, to let you know what's going on and show you that it's not just one place here, another place there. It's happening all over the place, and if you're not careful, it's going to go down real bad.
Right.
But if
And
but if you
some
stand up, you defend yourself, and you push back against these people, they will back down.
right. And sometimes it's not about the binary choice. Sometimes you have to create for yourself a third option. And and it's not yes or no. It's just I refuse to answer the
Now,
question.
now it may cost you something, but it's the right thing to do.
Well, it might cost you in the moment, but going down the line, that you're gonna see that as an investment and not as a loss.
Right. It may cost you in the moment, but you'll gain freedom and liberty, which is your right, your God given
Amen.